Hey everyone, so today we're traveling back to 1988 and we are going to be using the 1988 People Mover to make an off-road vehicle. So this time we're going for more realism. It's probably just going to be a steel frame, but I'm thinking that we'll set this thing up like a truck. So we'll go for the off-road light truck frame essentially. I mean, we could go ladder, but I'm going to try light truck and we'll see what that does. We'll just go steel. If we're being realistic, the engine is transverse in this, so we'll do a transverse engine. It's probably just going to be a V6. If we can fit a V8, we'll try it. I guess we can try it. So off-road, we need, let's go coils on the front and the back. So it's actually going to be pretty decent. We're going to want 4x4 as well. Let's see if we can do a V8. Cast iron block. Oh, it's getting full, but we can do a pretty decent sized V8 in this thing. This is a 90-degree V8 as well. This is a wide one. We could do probably a bigger 60. The length is just a touch too much, so it makes sense. We can do a 90-degree. We could probably, oh goodness, can we do a V10? No, V10 is too long. That's not realistic. Trying to be slightly realistic at the very least. So it's probably going to be maybe a 5.6 liter. I'm just trying to be like very touchy with this. Engine bay is quite full. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Essentially what we want to do is we want to crank up the stroke as much as we can until it moves up the capacity, and then I'm just going to move the capacity down a touch. Oh goodness, this is going to be a huge engine. Okay, you know what? For the weight purposes, we're just going to make it a 6 liter. So it's going to be a 6 liter push rod V8. 2 valves, cast iron head. Actually, we'll do an aluminum head. Try and keep the weight down just a touch. So it's a 6 liter. That's a lot. We're going to try and get about 600 horsepower out of it, so I'm going to try, let's try some heavy duty components just to give it a little bit of extra oomph, because I think that it'll probably just stick with, oh, should we do carburetor? That seems like a bad idea. It'll probably just be like 400 or so if we don't do those heavy components, so that's what I want to do. Let's do old style EFI, so single point, standard, no performance. They probably are going to be running it on regular gas. We'll just leave this as is for now. Headers, let's say they upgraded the headers to some short cast headers with some fancy dual exhaust. We're estimating we'll probably make about 600 horsepower, so we'll crank that up a little bit. We do want it to be street legal, so we'll go for a 2-way, and we'll just go second muffler will be baffled. So it only makes 26 horsepower. I have failed. No, we can fix it. So the pistons are going nuts, and the reason for that is the RPM limit is way too high. This thing cannot take RPMs, but the fuel mixture is probably, yeah, there we go, fixed. It makes 1 horsepower. That's not good. So it's probably down to compression then. Is the compression too high? There we go. So the compression was too high. Let's just try and raise it up. No. Okay, so the compression was just too high overall. Okay, so it only makes 200 horsepower. I'm increasing the cam profile. I want to try the RPM again. So yeah, not much to do there. We'll increase this. What is going on with this? So the exhaust is slightly restrictive. We can increase ignition timing. So, oh no, it's perfect. What if we'll go reverse flow there. Only making 300 horsepower is not quite what I was after. Maybe we have to go multi-point EFI. We'll just do twin. That should hopefully... Well, what I said about making 600 horsepower was, I guess, incorrect. maybe I was just a little bit too hopeful. Oh, well no, we're doing a little bit better now. I guess the EFI was an issue. So it makes 300 horsepower. We can raise the cam profile and get 303. Can raise the... Oh, that's not great. I guess it's going to be 300 horsepower. That's a little disappointing. I was hoping that it would be more, but that's understandable if it's not. Well, okay, 300 horsepower. It's a 6-liter V8 that only makes 300 horsepower. I guess that's what you get with 1988. Maybe, you know what, probably increasing this to, say they put in premium. No, it actually doesn't do anything. Okay, we'll just leave it as is. All right, 300 horsepower. Not the worst thing ever. It's not great, but it should have a lot of torque. So we'll be able to move off-road with that torque. Now, when it comes to this van body, its modification isn't too extreme. We can go wide fenders, which we definitely will, because we're trying to go off-road. This thing kind of looks like the old Pontiac Montana, or what did they call them? Trans something? It's like a wedge. I'm not gonna change it at all. I think we'll just leave it as is, and we'll go for the People Mover edition as well. Now let's go to the all car slot here, and we'll just paint it just like we'll just go black. No need to mess around with the colors here. Maybe plastic bumpers, or could we go steel? Nah, it doesn't look too great. We'll just go black all the way, and we'll paint the trim a nice steel. Okay, we will not paint the trim a nice steel. We will paint the trim black as well. So the whole thing is black? That's pearlescent, so I don't think that's a good idea. Let's just go trim black, and then we'll change the entire body to be silver-ish, white-ish. Let me change this. I would prefer more of a dark color, but I don't want to do anything too bad here. Dark brown. Oh, that's bad. That's a real ugly one. Dark blue. Right, it's going to be dark blue. Just for the sake of ease. And then we'll paint the brakes black, and we'll paint the wheels steel. Steel wheels. Okay, so now we can get on to the accessories. I don't exactly know what to do with this one. It doesn't need to be too fancy. We do need some pretty decent lights. We are going to have some fog lights as well. They just look crushed. Oh, that's so bad. Maybe we can make them just a touch bigger. Just a little bigger. I never said this thing was going to be pretty. Oh wow, that is real ugly. Okay, let's try something else. I don't want to make it too bad. These will probably be better. Yeah, that does look a little bit more period correct as well. Got our 80s headlights in. That works for me. Let's go for some fog lights. We'll do these ones down here. 45, 65, 85. We'll put those in. Just like that, I think works really well. We're not going to need a bash bar or anything fancy like that. Let's go do taillights really quick. I have a lot of experience with lights now after my previous vehicles. Go check out those videos if you haven't done it yet. Alright. Oh boy. I don't think that this is what that thing would have had originally. Maybe something like this? But then flipped 90 degrees? Or maybe not. Oh wow, this is This is turning out worse than I imagined. I think I'm actually just going to leave that as is. As ugly as they are, they do work. We'll just have to shrink them down so they don't stick out quite as much. Yeah, that's not horrific. It's bad, but it's not horrific. When it comes to grills, I don't think it had anything in the middle. But we are going to need something down low. That's not a good option. Maybe this? Okay, if you do that, you can see the engine for some reason. I think I'm going to do this, but then I'll widen it, and then stick it out further. You can see the fog lights underneath. Okay, that's a little awkward, I will say. No, I don't like that. We'll just go for a smaller grill in the middle. And by in the middle, I mean just in between these. Maybe something like this. What I was originally thinking was we could do a grill on each side of the headlights, but I think we'll just leave it like that. Maybe we can do vents instead. We could do vents on the side and just make them bigger. And now they're the exact same diameter. Okay, we won't do that. This thing is not going to be sporty by any means. That's not a bad looking front though. When it comes to the back, probably not going to have any vents there either. Does not need a scoop. Does not need a lip. No spoilers. Fuel cap, probably going to want that. We'll do like an off-roadish looking one. Put that down here. Oh, alright. Next is door handles. Now, these door handles, we'll say they look like this. Just like that. And then sliding door handles on the other side, but we'll just leave it like that as well. Oh, it's just slightly lower. Sometimes you gotta put a little more effort into it, I think. And we'll take that, we'll take off the mirror. See that? It jumped all the way over there. Take off the mirror. And then put that down here. So it's got all the same door handles on it. Nice chrome. And then awkwardly too low as well. Not bad. Alright, mirrors. I think we should probably just go for some basic... Oh, where would the mirrors even be on this thing? Because it's a big piece of glass there. That doesn't seem right. Maybe here? No, that doesn't seem right either. I'm just gonna leave them there. I hope that that's correct. Aerial, we won't bother with. What about misc stuff? I know I've seen cars with mud flaps before. Oh yeah, one feature that I did want to add to this was let's put a spare wheel on it. Actually, hold on. We can put that there, but we'll get rid of this. And we'll put that here. Like a big spare wheel. And then we'll change that to be... we'll change it to be body colored. I really like the spare wheel in this game. I don't know why, but I find it hilarious. Oh, you know what? We're missing one taillight, actually. We need just a small one. Where is it? Oh, it's mirrored. Okay. Alright. It does not want to go higher than that. I don't exactly know why. I'm trying to put a light above the wheel. Right, so we will ignore that then. Exhaust tip. One thing I would like in this game is if they had more exhaust tips. It would be great to be able to mess with more. But we're just going to put the big ones out the back just like that. I want to have ones that are turned down, but obviously we can't do that. Oh no, front wheel drive. Darn, okay, so we're going to have to quickly go back to the engine. We have to go longitudinal because it won't let us go... Wait, does that mean we can change the engine? It still fits. We could make it... Wait, let's get rid of this. Oh, that's a pretty cool looking engine. You know what? Let's just leave the engine as is. We could probably get more out of it now that it's longitudinal, but I also don't want to mess it up. So we'll just leave that as is for now. It only makes 300 horsepower and it's a big engine. Alright. So let's go four-wheel drive. Because we need that four-wheel drive. The engine is transversely mounted. Like right there. Not good. Okay, we'll go manual. We're just going to make it a 5-speed. It's not very quick, but we will add... we will allow it to make its top speed. There we go. I'm just going to leave that as is. We'll do manual lockers. And we'll leave the quality as is. Radial tires. Chunky off-road tires. One thing I've been doing with these vehicles is making the tires like way too big. But instead what I'm going to do is offset. So we'll have a heavy offset. And that'll hopefully help us off-road. We'll go magnesium. Actually, we'll go alloy. No, let's go steel wheels. But I want to make them big. Like real big. And that's as wide as they go. That's not too wide. It just seems like maybe 260 is a good option. Let's do 265. Yeah, that's not overly huge. If we shrink those, can we... So apparently we just cannot make... We cannot make these wheels any bigger. Which is just unfortunate. But we can have a pretty decent offset. I wish I could make them bigger. I wish... It would be nice to just be able to override that. Just make them huge. But okay, we'll stick with that. Let's do solid discs. Just because we'll do 2-piston. Make them a little bit bigger. Solid discs, 2-piston, a little bit bigger. That's going to be fine. Doesn't need to be fancy. We'll do an off-road skid tray. And we will not worry about that stuff because it's not going to matter. So shall we have the off-road gallery? As many seats as possible? I'm thinking so. This thing is not going to be quick. Power steering. We'll do hydraulic. No ABS. We'll do basic 80s safety. It's not got much. Off-road is actually better if we do hyper pneumatic. No, hydro pneumatic, not hyper. Goodness. So instead we'll go standard. Let's say they went a little bit off-road. Like they spent a bit on the money, or on the suspension part of it. Oh, it's tall. Wow, that's tall. That's a little too tall for me. It doesn't need to be that tall. I think that height is good there, just like that. See, if we go off-road, it just launches it. It's just massive. Let's go midway. We'll compromise. Alright, so that's it. That's the van. Let's take it to Beam and see how it does. It is an 8-seater, 300 horsepower van, with a huge V8. And, well, let's hope it does okay off-road. I think it's going to be okay. It shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully. Hey everyone, so this is what our exported van looks like in Beam. It is pretty tall, but I'm glad that I lowered it, because otherwise it would be extremely tippy. It is actually quite good. I've just been driving it just a little bit around here. This is Jungle Rock Island. We're just on some trails. We're just driving around, but yeah, it's good overall. It's got the locking diffs, just in case we get stuck somewhere. Its four-wheel drive works well. One thing that's really odd about it is that the game did not export its engine sounds. I don't know why, but it is eerily quiet. I don't exactly know what happened, but it just decided not to export the sounds. But yeah, overall it's not bad. I'm very surprised. So I figured, let's just drive all the way up Jungle Rock Island Mountain to prove that it is indeed capable. Now the issue is, we have to get up here, and I don't know how well it's going to do. We are in four-wheel drive. We're just going to stay, we'll just stay in it just a little slowly. Oh, it's not doing bad at all. It has got torque for days with this 6 liter, but it's also very heavy, and oh, it's working. It's slow, but it's working. And there we go. We made it to the top of this. This is almost like a dirt bike trail here, but overall it's pretty good. I don't really have an off-road course to compare vehicles to. Like, I don't have a definitive thing that I can say, yeah, this is better than this or this is better than this, but it's good at what it does or what it's supposed to do. I think that we could make it better, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And as with all automation vehicles, it's quite strong. Let me see here. Let's just tour around the island a little bit more, and we'll see what's going on with it. But yeah, Jungle Rock Island is quite good for off-roading. Just a few trails here and there. So like I said, it's not super quick. Its RPM limit at 5,000 is pretty darn low. I'm not too surprised considering it's a pushrod V8, but at the same time, it seems a little low. I don't know what's going on today with the game. It just seems like a few glitches are happening here and there. I'm definitely still able to make the things I want to make though, so that's all that matters right now. Now, what I want to do is, these off-road vehicles are obviously not made to go on the track, but I want to take them on the track anyways, just because I find that to be a lot of fun. So let's just quickly take a dive down one of these rock faces. We'll do a little bit more off-roading, and then we'll go straight to the track, because that's where I belong. I like making these silly creations quite a bit, but also it's fun to have some sort of measuring scale. The problem is that the current measuring scale is all about my skill in driving them, and also about their track ability, which isn't necessarily the focus of everything. Especially with this one being, well, it's obviously not the focus of this one. But yeah, let's head off to the track, and we will compare this to our leaderboard, and we're going to race one other special vehicle. Alright, so here we are on the track. The van thing is all ready to go. I think the best time is 120 something around here, so we're going to have to beat that. I don't think it's going to do it, but I'm very interested to try. So let's see if we can do it. We're just doing 2 laps. We're going to keep the diff locked in the center, but we're not going to... oh goodness, this is probably going to be the slowest thing on the leaderboard, just due to its wobbliness. But I do have worse cars to try, so get ready for that. It's going to be a lot of fun when we try out some of the like truly bad stuff that I have made in the past. This one overall, we're really not pushing the engine to the limits, so it's not terrible. I find, especially with some cars, once you tune up the engines as much as they can go, they just seem to drive really awkwardly. And with this one, its engine doesn't seem to be that way. Like, being a 6-liter V8, obviously this one is period 1988 correct, so I think that's probably why it wasn't able to make the power that we would hope it could make. But yeah, just not having things tuned up all the way oftentimes means that the car is just generally better to drive. Alright, so we're coming around, we're getting around the last couple corners here for our first lap. I'm still glad that the laps on this track are short, but this wedge van just seems to plow its way through. Let's go for the flying lap here. It's going to be probably a 136. That's 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 136. Let's see if we can do better than that. So how this time trial works... oh goodness, the brakes are pretty bad. But how this time trial works is that it logs your total time, not the lap time specifically. So yeah, we can look at a good lap time, but it has to be both times that make it count. For this car and for the next one, I'm only going to run them around the track once. I don't think that they're contenders for the top, so I think it's important to just not spend too much time on them. But I think next time what we'll do is probably make another track-focused car, because my last one was pretty bad. What we need to do though is we need to race the 2600 horsepower all-wheel drive, just absolute beast around the track, and then we're going to have to race some of the other stuff around the track as well, so we can have more of a leaderboard, so we can see where things are placing in regards to our previous projects. But yeah, this one is definitely going to be one of the slower of the drivers, and we're 2 seconds ahead of our previous lap, but we're cutting it in on this corner here. It wants to go off-road, what can I say? So yeah, throttle all the way down. This thing is a 5-speed, which might have been a mistake, but yeah, that's it. Let's see how we stack up. Right, so it did a 3:08, which is, yes, it's the slowest time. You can see the drag car here is in third and also in second. I don't know. It logs the time for each individual time that you do it. So we ran it twice, so it gets two times. And then the top one is the LMP track car that we made before. Now let's do it with a different car. This vehicle here is another one that my girlfriend made. It looks good in its thumbnail, but the color is a little bit awkward because pearlescent does not seem to work in Beam. So let's give this one a try around the track. It should be pretty quick. It's a 400 horsepower boxer engine in an Aston Martin Vantage shell. So I'm interested to see how fast it is around the track as well. And we'll keep featuring her cars in more of the videos, like the really bad one that she made, and then this one she actually tried on. So we'll take a quick look at that. Right, so here it is. You can see it's got Dodge Charger rear lights, but she put a lot of time into it, so I think it turned out okay. It's not horrific. It's got a lot of detail, and it is reasonably quick, so let's give it a go. It is an automatic, so I can't be changing gears or anything, but with its boxer engine, it is quick. One thing I will say is I think the brakes are just a touch too small. On my previous track car build, I made them way too big. It turns out having the biggest brakes possible was not a good idea. But on this car, and also her other car, the brakes are just a touch too small for my liking, I think. Last time I was driving it, they were heating up quite a bit, as they are now. You can see in the bottom left corner that, whoa, that's why they put those bumps there. You can see that the brakes hit like 400 degrees. That's pretty hot. But the car is very light, so it might actually be one of the faster ones around the track. I'm not sure if it can compete with the drag car being a 700 horsepower drag car, but it is pretty darn quick. Now, one thing I am noticing, just as I took that chicane, I guess it could be considered a chicane. Oh, that was a bad corner. It does not really penalize you for driving on the grass in this game. There is no cutting penalty from the... Oh goodness, the brakes are red hot. Well, we're making up for that now by driving right off the track, but yeah, the brakes just shot up to red there. It is going to take some time for them to cool down, but you can see what I mean. They're just a touch too small. I think with some brake cooling, this car would be quite a bit better. Or vented discs, because I think it has solid ones. Oh boy, okay, the brakes are smoking. That's a little dangerous. We're actually slower. Oh no. I'm gonna have to handbrake. Oh boy. Yeah, the brakes are like literally on fire. We have to be extra cautious here before we ignite them. Oh boy. Oh no, I feel like I need to be much more conservative than I'm being on the drive here. But yeah, I think I am going to allow cutting that corner. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. So maybe we won't hit the top of the leaderboard, but we can do pretty decently with this car, despite its bad brakes and my desire to go faster than it really probably should be. But yeah, that's it. So it is second place. It is faster than the drag car by 2 seconds, and that's including me spinning out tremendously a few times. So yeah, that's a good car that you made. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll be back again in a couple of days to make another one, and yeah, thanks for all the support on these recent videos, and keep letting me know what you think.